Amen. Amen. Good evening. So glad you're here. You can be seated. Those of you online, we're so glad that you're joining with us as well. I hope you don't mind, but we're just going to get right to it. Oh, I like that. So, last week, of course, we finished chapter 39, which I know deeply profound, comes after Ezekiel 38. As we make our way through this book of Ezekiel, now we're on the home stretch, chapters 40 through 48. We turn a pretty sharp corner, and we go from this yet future prophesied invasion by this alliance of nations of Israel, Ezekiel 38 and 39, and then subsequent to that, we go right into the millennium, which is after the tribulation, which is what I want to really emphasize tonight, because from chapter 40 through to the rest of the book, chapter 48, it's prophetic about the temple in the kingdom age. Specifically, a description of the temple, then the worship in the temple, then lastly, toward the end of the book, that which surrounds the temple. Now, this is during the 1,000-year millennial reign, where we rule and reign with Christ. But, as we're about to see, Ezekiel in great detail, I mean great detail, is given a vision of this temple during the millennium, which is after the 7-year tribulation, which is after the rapture, which has to happen before the 7-year tribulation. Real quick. The next event prophetically is the rapture of the church, which could be any time now. Okay, never mind. Then, after the rapture, now, we're not certain, nor do we need to be, but there is a potential for, I can't see it being too much time, but there could be some time between the rapture and the commencement of the 7-year tribulation, because the rapture does not start the 7-year tribulation. What starts the 7-year tribulation is the fulfillment of Daniel 9:27, when this confirmed peace agreement with many is enforced, or in the Hebrew or the Arabic, ikhbir. It's made stronger, greater, superior, spectacular. That's when the 7-year tribulation starts, not the rapture. So there could be a little bit of a, I hate to use the word gap because it brings up certain connotations and associations, but the rapture happens, and then after the rapture is the 7-year tribulation. Then after the 7-year tribulation is the second coming, and then after the second coming is the 1,000-year reign, the millennium. Then after the millennium is the new heavens and the new earth. So you see the chronology there, all in order. Now, what I want to emphasize tonight are two words: after and tribulation. I like the word after in the context of tribulation. Are you with me? In other words, when Ezekiel receives this vision, this prophecy, he's actually, talk about time travel, which is actually a thing. Tesla, Trump, et al. Are all very interested in this thing called time travel. All they really need to do is go to Ezekiel, who really experienced time travel and was transported from Tel Aviv there in Babylon to Jerusalem in the millennium to see the temple that is going to be there and declare this temple to the Israelites that were captive there in Babylon. Why? To give them hope after. They want the after before. Let me explain this, because we're going to need this in a moment. The after before. I want to know what's after the tribulation I'm in before, because that's what's going to get me through the tribulation that I'm in, is knowing what happens after the tribulation that I'm in. Can you imagine the Jews that would have heard this prophecy that was given to Ezekiel and declared by Ezekiel to them as they're there being captive in Babylon? And here's Ezekiel saying, oh, you guys, do you know what's going to happen in the millennium? The temple, and here's all the detail. It would have lifted them up. Why? Because there's an after to tribulation. There's an after. So after this 7-year tribulation, one more thing, and then we'll try to actually start the chapter. I want you to think about this, because I'm just as guilty of this as anyone. I'm so excited about the rapture. Forget about the tribulation. That's their problem. Yeah, I know that's bad. No, but right? Come on. Let's be honest, right? It is a see ya, wouldn't want to be ya, which I know is not God's heart, thankfully, right? Because during the 7-year tribulation, which actually so too with the millennium, the tribulation is really for Israel. So too is the millennium, believe it or not, because even this great detail that we're going to see about the temple during the millennium, which is not the temple during the tribulation, by the way. This is mainly, chiefly, supremely for Israel, not us. Because, see, we're ruling and reigning with Christ. So what I'm guilty of, and I know if you're anything like me, you're also guilty of, which brings me great comfort to know that I'm not alone. We just think about the rapture and eternity future. But we kind of forget about 1,000 years. 1,000 years. And I mean, it's not going to be like, oh man, we got another 1,000 years before heaven? Really? No, it's going to be like, wait a minute. For 1,000 years, we're ruling and reigning with Christ on earth. Get this. As it was before sin entered the world. I'm going to really max out your bandwidth on this one. You ready? Wait for it.